Hello, everyone. Welcome back to IELTS Speaking, Passive Listening. I'm Kevin Wynn, and today we'll dive into Topic 4, Travel and Cultural Exchange. Make sure to check the full transcript and key phrases in the description. In this simulation, examiner Lisa Lee will conduct the test, Olive Wynn will showcase Band 5 to 6, and Mary will offer Band 7 Plus model answers. Let's get started.
Hi there, everyone. Great to have you back for another topic. I'm Lisa Lee, your examiner for today's test simulation. Olive, could you please introduce yourself to our viewers?
Hello, Miss. Lisa. Hello, everyone. I'm Olive Wynn, but feel free to just call me Olive. I'm really excited to talk about travel and cultural exchange today.
Hi all, I'm Mary, and I'll be showing you how a Band 7 Plus response sounds. Looking forward to our discussion about travel and cultural exchange.
Great. I'll guide you through the questions just like in a real exam. Are we ready to begin?
We're ready. Let's get started.
Great. Do you like to travel?
I do enjoy traveling sometimes. I mean, it's kind of fun to visit new places, try new foods, and meet different people, but, it's not always easy. Like, there's the stress of planning and, figuring out transportation. But in general, I think it's worth it. You get to, learn new things, see different cultures, and broaden your perspective.
In my view, traveling is one of the most enriching ways to broaden your horizons. Take, for instance, my recent trip to Da Nang, early morning walks along the beach, enjoying local dishes like mee kuang, and a cable car ride with a stunning view of the coastline. What's more, traveling isn't just about seeing new sights. It's about immersing yourself in the local culture and learning from it. Ultimately, travel allows us to appreciate the diverse ways people live. And that's what makes it such a powerful experience.
Wonderful insights from both of you. Let's move on to your next question.
I usually prefer quiet towns or beaches, places where I can relax and take photos. I mean, big cities are okay, but they're often too crowded and noisy. I really enjoy local markets or small cafes where I can just sit and watch the world go by. And, if there's a nature trail or hill, I'll always try to climb it, even though it might take some time. It's, really peaceful at the top.
Honestly speaking, I tend to gravitate toward destinations that offer a balance between the energy of a bustling city and the serenity of more peaceful areas. On one hand, I enjoy exploring cities with rich histories and vibrant markets. On the other hand, I find quieter neighborhoods to be incredibly rewarding, allowing me to experience local life at a more relaxed pace. Moreover, interacting with local people and savoring traditional food helps me connect with the place in a more meaningful way. By and large, I prefer places where I can truly immerse myself in the culture, not just visit tourist hotspots.
Great balance in preferences, Mary. Now, let's talk about the benefits of traveling. Does traveling help you learn about other cultures?
Yeah, definitely. When you travel, you get to see how people live, what they eat, how they greet each other, and their habits, which you can't really learn from books. I remember in Hoi An, I learned about the different colors of lanterns and why families have altars at home. It really helps you become more open-minded and patient, even after you return home.
I'm inclined to think that travel provides one of the best ways to truly experience other cultures. A perfect example is when I visited Hoi An and participated in a lantern-making workshop. Not only did I learn about the craftsmanship, but I also understood the cultural significance of each design. Moreover, conversing with the locals and hearing their stories gave me a deeper appreciation for their heritage. Ultimately, travel enables you to see the world from a perspective that no textbook or video could ever offer.
Such great examples of cultural immersion. Let's move on to the next question. How often do you travel?
I don't travel that often, maybe once or twice a year. Usually, I plan trips around school and family. But I enjoy short trips, like weekend getaways. I just take a bus, find a guest house, and explore local food. It's simple, but really refreshing, and I always learn something new.
Ultimately, my travel frequency depends on time and resources. I aim for one major trip a year and a few smaller ones in between. On one hand, long trips allow me to immerse deeply in the culture. On the other hand, short trips keep my curiosity alive without overwhelming my schedule. Take weekend excursions, for example. They can offer fresh perspectives without taking too much time off work or school.
Great. Now, let's move on to part 2. I'm going to give you a topic card and paper for notes. You'll have 1 minute to prepare, then speak for 1 to 2 minutes. Got it?
Yes, I know.
All right, your time starts now.
I want to talk about Hoi An last year. It's, a small town in central Vietnam. I walked around the old town and, tried local food like cao lao. I also joined a small lantern shop, like a short workshop, and the auntie showed me how to, fold and tie the frame. It felt pretty authentic, I think. I stayed near the river, so every morning I, watched boats moving slowly and people setting up stalls with fruit and herbs. I didn't do anything fancy, just small things, but they made me feel calm. The streets were kind of magical at night. Lanterns everywhere, music. I took a lot of pictures and, just watched people chatting by the river. I learned about their heritage, old houses, family altars, and how festivals bring everyone together. It gave me a new perspective because in my city life, I don't usually slow down to see those little details. I also noticed how polite shop owners were when I tried to speak a few Vietnamese phrases. They smiled and, corrected my pronunciation in a friendly way, which was nice. On one hand, the place is touristy. It gets crowded and her prices go up. On the other hand, there are quiet corners with tea houses where you can sit and listen to stories from locals. One lady told me about her grandma's recipes and how the market used to be before globalization brought in more brands. Another man explained lantern colors, red for luck, yellow for warmth, and I, wrote notes so I wouldn't forget. That was, really enriching for me. At the end of the day, I felt happy because I learned small things, how people decorate their homes, how they mix old and new. The trip wasn't like super long, but it stayed with me. I'm, planning to go back and maybe take a longer craft class or try volunteering at a community event. So, yeah, it was memorable because it wasn't just sightseeing, it was kind of immersion, slowly, step by step, and it changed how I, look at everyday life.
I'd like to share a summer trip to Hoi An that genuinely reframed my perspective. As far as I'm concerned, the town's layered heritage is best understood through hands-on immersion rather than a checklist of landmarks. A perfect example is a lantern-making workshop where the artisan explained the symbolism of colors and patterns, how families choose motifs for milestones and festivals. That insight transformed lanterns from pretty decor into living tradition. I also spent an afternoon at a traditional tea house. Honestly speaking, the quiet etiquette around pouring and tasting taught me more about local values, patience, hospitality, community than any brochure could. On one hand, the old quarter's popularity fuels jobs for guides and craft cooperatives. On the other hand, commercialization can erode authenticity if souvenirs replace stories. Talking with vendors about sourcing and skill transfer helped me see how they balance income with pride in craft, and why apprenticeships matter when tourism surges. Even food became a cultural lens. A cook described Kao Lao as a dialogue between trade routes and terroir, local water, centuries of adaptation, and a noodle technique that families guard carefully. Moreover, wandering neighborhood markets exposed me to diverse dialects and seasonal rituals, from incense offerings to communal cleanups before holidays. I'm inclined to think that these micro-experiences make travel truly enriching. They connect you to people's choices, not just their postcard views. To ground the experience, I kept a small field journal. Who taught me a skill, what materials they used, and which traditions those materials reference. That practice made me notice details I would have missed. The way a vendor greets elders first, or how shopkeepers pause to help neighbors carry goods during rain. It also nudged me to ask better questions. Which guilds maintain quality standards? How are younger artisans encouraged to stay? Where does fair pricing fit in? At the end of the day, travel rewired my habits. I now ask who made this object, which hands taught them, and how my purchase sustains that knowledge. That mindset travels home with me, shaping how I support local culture where I live, choosing community markets, paying for guided walks, and citing sources when I share stories online.
That sounds like a very interesting experience. Now, let's discuss a bit more about the role travel plays in shaping our understanding of different cultures. Do you think more people should travel in order to understand other cultures better?
Yeah, I think traveling helps a lot. It's not just about seeing new places, but about understanding how others live. You get to experience their habits and values. It makes you more open-minded.
Definitely. Traveling exposes you to new cultures in a way that reading can't. It builds empathy and appreciation for diversity, which is important in today's world.
Great. Let's move on to part 3. Now, we'll broaden the discussion. I'll ask a few more thought-provoking questions. What role should companies play in helping workers adapt to AI?
They should, train workers and pay for that time, you know? People need clear steps, small practice tasks, and someone to ask when things break. Also, fair schedules so no one, suddenly loses hours. If managers explain why the tool helps and what new roles there are, staff feel less scared and more ready to try.
It is widely believed that employers must co-own the upskilling agenda, provide structured curricula, paid learning time, and hands-on projects that map to real workflows, publish role definitions for emerging positions, and add guardrails, verification checklists, escalation paths, and metrics that reward collaboration with automation. At the end of the day, ethical deployment means pairing tools with genuine support.
Training as strategy. Clear point. Let's move to the next question. Who has more responsibility? workers or companies?
I think both. Workers should stay curious and learn a little each week, but companies, they have more resources, so they must support with courses, time, and patient coaching. When both sides try, the change is, smoother and not so scary.
I reckon responsibility is shared but asymmetric. Individuals own curiosity and documentation of best practices. Employers own the runway, funding programs, granting practice time, and aligning incentives so people aren't penalized for experimenting or escalating risks. Designing the system together beats blaming either side.
Shared effort. Makes sense. Moving on to the next question. What ethical concerns come with AI at work?
Bias and mistakes, worry me. If a hiring tool ranks people wrong, good candidates lose chances. Privacy, too. Systems might collect more data than we expect, so companies should check results carefully, explain decisions in simple words, and keep humans in the loop for sensitive stuff like hiring. That way, people feel safer.
A double-edged sword. AI raises concerns around fairness, transparency, privacy, and labor impacts. We need representative data, ongoing monitoring, explainability with appeal routes, minimal data collection, and role-based access. At the end of the day, trust comes from verifiable safeguards, not promises.
Thank you both for sharing your experiences today. It was a pleasure hearing your thoughts on travel and cultural exchange. I hope your future travels bring you even more inspiration and learning. Best of luck with your IELTS preparation, and may you continue to grow through every new adventure.
Thank you for tuning in to Topic 4, Travel and Cultural Exchange. Notice how Olive and Mary approached the questions differently, reflecting varying levels of fluency and depth. If you found this useful, make sure to like and subscribe to keep up with more content like this. Wishing you the best in your IELTS journey. See you in the next video.